Yes, sir. We're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the Marvel Legends Spider Build-A-Figure Wave Overview and Spider Build-A-Figure Review. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini Mayfield fucking with them. Hype beast, we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about you.
Alright, so this has been a common practice of mine when I get a new wave of Marvel Legends and I review each individual figure in that wave. Once I'm done, I'll do an overview of the wave and just do a recap of each individual figure and then review the Build-A-Figure in that same video. So that's what I'm bringing to you here. I'm going to freestyle this off the top real quick so we could get into the review of the BAF. But left to right, Cloak and Dagger are pretty much useless to have one without the other, so you definitely want to get both of them. And like I mentioned in the review for them, you know, probably going to be doing a lot of vanilla shots. I was a little disappointed with the lack of articulation for Dagger, but that was to be expected because we know what's going on with Hasbro and their female figures. I was surprised to see that there was a body for Cloak that any customizer or kit basher will be able to mess around with. Really nice head sculpt for Cloak too. I am interested to take a bunch of pictures with these two though. So House of M Spider-Man, great to add to your Spider-Man collection, add to your Spider-Verse crew. I would have liked to get some more interchangeable hands with this guy and maybe an unmasked head, and that would have been great, but you know, he was a little underwhelming. Still great in the articulation department. Doc Ock is probably the star of the wave, but because he didn't have any bendy wire in the tentacles or much articulation at all in the tentacles, it was a bit of a letdown there. Still, I do think he's going to be highly sought after. I believe he's 2 per case, so it should be a little easier to find him than some of the other figures, I guess, but he's also going to be the one that everybody's gunning for, so you may run into some trouble at retail. Kane, Scarlet Spider, probably one of my favorites out of the wave, probably only second to Doc Ock. I think he came out phenomenal. I think overall he's a great figure. I don't really have any gripes with him. Elektra, great upgrade on the Elektras of the past. The best 6-inch Elektra that we have so far. Her head sculpt looks great. Would have liked to see a little more articulation, but I mean, you could do so much with her in displays and different eras, and you know, that is definitely appealing. Daredevil is not Shadowland Daredevil. We still don't have a Shadowland Daredevil from Marvel Legends. This is the all new, all different Daredevil. I like the costume, but I really want them to upgrade the body or the buck for Daredevil and give us a new buck for him with more articulation. But the figure is pretty clean, and let's get into the Spider Build-A-Figure. So I always say this, I'm doing a lot of reiterating in this review, but I always say that the Build-A-Figures from Marvel Legends, from any company that does Build-A-Figure, collect and connect, whatever you want to call it, that figure is essentially a free figure, a bonus figure. You're buying 6, 7, 8, however many figures, and then you're going to get one figure for free. So I never really complain too much as it relates to the BAFs. This one is okay. I'm cool with them, actually. It's a very obscure character. It's different, and it does add to your ranks of your Spider-Verse characters, although I do think that he may be a little undersized. If I'm not mistaken, this character was first introduced during a Spider-Verse event, and it's sort of like a mech suit that a young lady pilots. So she's supposed to be able to fit inside of here, if I'm not mistaken. I'm freestyling this. I did look up the character just a little bit, but I'm going off the top, so help me out in the comments if I'm wrong about anything. And I do know that the young lady's name is Penny Parker, and she took over the mantle of the Spider mech or suit after her father was killed piloting the suit. I'm pretty sure I gave this information in some other review when I talked about this character before the figure even dropped. But as far as I can tell, it's pretty comic accurate. I think they did a pretty good job of depicting the comic likeness of the character and figure form, so I do think he looks good. Some really vibrant, bright reds on here, and silver, yellow, black. I think the paintwork looks pretty good, you know, for Marvel Legends. I think they probably could have put a little more detail in the silver areas to really bring out the scope and make it look like a mech. It's not really much here as far as wires or anything or any added details. I did see some images where, you know, you can see some wiring and stuff here around the head, although you do see a few wires right here at the top. But yeah, again, I think they did okay as far as matching it up to the look of the character in the comic book. Alright, so articulation. The head is actually on a ball joint, and the head does pop off, so that's cool. It would have been nice if you could maybe pop off this upper section and they had something where you could see Penny Parker's head in there or something like that. I think it's piloted where the human's head is at the top up there too, so that would have been cool. But the head will rotate, it'll look down, it'll look up. I do like the articulation on the head. It'll pivot, you get a really nice range of motion. Now the shoulders actually hinge on this joint just a little bit on both sides. If you try to do too much, they'll pop out. Not broken, but they do pop out on both sides. They're pretty much just going to get that 360 and a little bit of a hinge there. You get a swivel here at, I guess, what you would call the upper bicep. You get a single jointed elbow. Does it swivel on that lower joint? No, you get a single jointed elbow, you get a hinge and a swivel on the wrist. You get a little bit of upper torso articulation. It'll go back and forth just about that much, but there's nothing else here in the midsection, unfortunately. The legs kind of like annoy me a little bit. They will swivel up that way and backwards, and it'll rotate just a little bit on that joint. But the way this ball peg looks, you would think the legs can hinge left and right a little bit more, but they actually don't, and it's kind of annoying. You don't get a cut here, but you get like a triple jointed knee, which is cool, and you get a slight hinge on the foot, really no pivot, and that's it. You can get him crouching real low. Now this I do like, and I've seen pictures of him depicted like this in the comic book, so that's cool. I just kind of wish there was more. You know, I always say that. I always want more articulation. As long as these fingers are, they could have even went the extra mile and put some articulation in the fingers, and they definitely could have did more in the leg area. But I see what they were doing as far as giving him that sort of Spider-Man-esque posability, which was pretty cool. And it should be noted that standing him up is a bit of a challenge. It takes a little bit of skill and patience to stand him up, but you can. I can see these legs getting a little loose over time because he is a little top heavy, but if you kind of even out the weight and just have a little bit of patience, you can get him to stand. Alright, just one quick size comparison and I'm going to get out of here. I broke out the Marvel Legends Dormammu Build-A-Figure Wave Nico figure, for one because she's small, and two because I think she kind of looks like Penny Parker, and maybe with a little bit of customizing you can turn a Nico figure into a Penny Parker. But I wanted to get her side by side with the BAF because I wanted to compare it to images that I saw of Penny Parker next to the mech or on top of the mech, and definitely this Build-A-Figure is a little small, but I do like the possibilities for messing with the scale and fudging the scale and taking pictures and doing some different things. And I do like the fact that we did get this pretty obscure character, and it seems like they're really rounding out the ranks from Spider-Verse, the whole crew from Spider-Verse. We're about to get the Spider-Ham, and hopefully they'll end up doing some of the villains at some point. I know that is something that has been requested. As a matter of fact, I had even asked Dwight about that the last time that I saw him. So he said it was a possibility, so we'll see what happens. Still, again, for a free figure and for an obscure character and to add to the ranks of your Marvel Universe in 6-inch form, it's worth picking up in my opinion. So there's that. Thanks for hanging out with me for all the reviews. As always, rate, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.
That's crispy.